Hi, Garden Rebels. Hey, this is the project today. Ta-da! What I want to do today is go over it step by step, just like you would planting up a hanging basket. So I'm going to give you some ideas, what you can do, and all the steps that we take to do a hanging basket. Now I picked this particular one just cause. But let's go over those steps, shall we? Step one, really almost the most important step of this whole entire basket making project. Step one. Oh yeah, that's good. We use our moss cloth, right? And I've shown you this before. It's our moss cloth. It's got moss on the front and it's got a great backing to it, so it'll last a long time. So what I'm going to do first, now on this liner here, what I like to do is tack it in because it's a really long lasting liner. So I'm going to tack this in the beginning of this, not quite the end part, because I'm going to overlap this very end. So I'm going to go in for a little bit, and I'm going to go maybe to this first bar and tack it in there just kind of to hold it all in as I work that moss all the way. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to poke a hole. And I'm going to use a little zip tie, so a little electric zip tie, and hold that in for a moment. Now also, one particular thing about this, let me show you up close, is that on these edges, you know, I could zip tie it just like that, but I could also roll it a bit so that we don't quite see this edge right there. So if you roll it, you can just tuck it underneath like that. Okay, we've mossed, right? We've mossed our basket. Now we've got to go shopping. So I've taken this basket right here on a shopping trip. I'm bringing this in. We're going to go shopping just like regular people, and we're going to pick out some things. And this, I think, could be when it becomes really intimidating. Let me show you. Okay, here's our garden center, right? So lots of plants to choose from. Where do I go? What do I do? What kind of plants to shop for? What do I like? What can go into a basket? How big is it going to get? All of these questions, right? Here, this is what I want you to do, is just relax. I'm going to give you a focus, and this is the focus. You decide where you're going to hang your basket. Is this in the sun or in the shade? I want you to figure out is this basket is going to go in the sun, and consider sun if it's morning sun or it's afternoon sun, or if it's all day sun. So any of those three things. Our focus is going to be just to find plants that we like. Find something that you're going to enjoy. Just a focal point. I've decided I like this guy. Just fun. Thuja plicata, this one is called whipcord. I like it, just kind of weird, right? Instead of putting it directly in the center, which is, I guess, my first instinct, I'm actually going to think in sets of threes. So I'm going to set this off to the side and find another 2 and 3. And so, since this is my choice, I'm going to find things that accent it. And I'm just going to go by color. I definitely like the kind that have this curled leaf. For the winter time here in the Pacific Northwest, it does really well. This one's called Melting Fire. And you notice that the two contrast out really well next to each other. Let me introduce some yellow. And all I've done is found a plant that looks like yellow. And so now I've got contrasting colors, which is the first thing, by the way, that your eye will catch. The golden yellows, nice wonderful burgundy reds, and then a nice deep dark green. It helps too that the foliage happens to be different in this mix, and it really adds a second layer of interest. So this is leafy, this is big and leafy, and this is stringy. So the form or the texture of it is a little bit different too. And thirdly, this kind of gets into the finer details, is that form. Something's rounding, something's mounding, something's tall. Okay, back at the ranch. We are going to fill it with some soil, right? I'm particular about my soil. Very particular. And so we have our own soil, of course, and I'm not going to recommend anybody else's soil except my soil. So just take that with a grain of salt there. And the reason being is because I need things to root out really well. And I need nutrients to come up via that plant. I need it to get soaked with water nicely. So those things are very important, especially for hanging baskets. Nothing, by the way, on the soil holds water better. So I'm going to put some of our root power in, our root power. It has all 15 essential nutrients for root growth. You also throw in that mycorrhizae so it really gets the roots out. And so I'm just going to set those in there, make sure everything fits nicely. Boom, boom, our trifecta, the beginnings of our great band. So I take these out. Now lots of folks plant them differently. I don't mess with the roots. I plant it direct unless I have a space issue, right? So I'm going to plant that direct. Take this out. One, two, three. Now you notice I have lots of space here. So let me fill it with some more soil just to bring up that level, and then we're going to add in our dessert items. If you do two at the same time. One helpful hint, by the way, if I may, is when you plant this, do mirror. Doing the mirror of the plant. So don't do exactly the same, because everything will be left-sided or right-sided. So this one goes here, and this one goes here. Fully planted basket, right? We still have some spots and spaces that we could use that in. I'm going to show you some more. But we're not done yet. I still want to put some finishing touches on it as well. And I'm going to use this right here. And it's called Royal Pool Moss. So I'm going to add one more thing to that. And it's something like this. This is a glass piece right here, right? It's just an odd, strange, weird shape. And I'm going to plant that in there, kind of just like, I guess, just like an egg. So guys, that's the show for the day. On to the next basket after you finish this last basket. Guys, that's the show. Always live your passion.